Hey folks, what's up? Thanks for checking out I Suck at Painting. Today I'm going to finish up this Ironjawz Orruk contrast paint request by Keith. I'm going to do the armor and the weapons and all the crap and get them glued up. So make sure you stick around to the end and see him all finished and let me know what you think of all contrast paint on the Orruk. Okay, so in finishing up this armor, we're going to do, like the box art has some parts are yellow and some parts are that black with the blue edge highlights. So I think we should start with the black parts first, so it'll be easier to clean up. And this is going to be done the same way that we did the fingernails. So we're going to do this Achelian green first, and we're going to put this all over the parts that we want to be dark black in the end. So I'll do some of these and I'll finish the rest off camera, because once we do one part it's just doing the same thing over and over again. So just like fingernails, we're just putting this on lightly to tint, and then we will go over with the black. Okay, so with the Achelian green done, the next step is to cover all of those areas with black Templar, and this also is thinned down half and half with the contrast medium, but this one we're going to put on just like we would put on any regular contrast paint. I'm just going to put it on thick and let it do its thing. So I will go around and do all these and come back when these are done as well. We'll move on to the yellow sections. Alright, now our black is all dried up. You can kind of see what we got going on here on this piece. The black is pulled away from the high points, leaving that blue. Again, I mean, it's not as sharp as what they have on the box art, but for using only contrast paint, I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to move on to the yellow parts of the armor next. And for this, we're going to go two different colors, and we're going to use two brushes here. In this one I have Ironjawz yellow. This is mixed 50-50 with contrast medium. And in this one I have Nazdrag yellow, one part, skeleton horde, one part, and contrast medium, one part. So equal parts of that. And what we're going to do is the Ironjawz yellow we're going to do on all the top facing parts, and the Nazdrag skeleton horde we're going to do on the downward facing parts. So this is just doing one thick coat, contrast style, and just hitting all the yellow armor nice and thick. I'll go around and do all that and come back when that's done. Okay, our armor is all dry. Since this is an experiment, I kind of didn't know exactly what to do and what's going to happen. If I was doing this again, I probably would maybe thin out the Ironjawz yellow a little bit more. It came out a little bit darker than I'd hoped, but that's okay. So next we're going to move on to doing like the straps and belts and the wood part of his weapon. I'm going to use Gorgranda fur for this. If you want to use like wildwood for the handle, that's cool. So we're going to be doing like these straps here, his belt, straps on his boots, straps on his chest piece, and the little ornamental bits that'll go on this this shoulder pad, and we're just going to go full strength with this. And I like the gore grinder fur for the wood. I know a lot of people are crazy about the wild wood. That's also cool too. But I do like the gore grinder fur, and plus using it in more than one place is gonna make it a little more uniform, kind of tie it all together. So we'll go ahead and do these and come back in a bit. Alright, now on to the last remaining bits, which is pretty much just wraps, boots, the blade of the weapon, and some bone parts. There's only a couple bone parts. One is on his chest piece, other part is on this little decoration that goes on his shoulder pad, and we're just going to hit that with Skeleton Horde, full strength, super easy. I'll be back when that is finished. Okay, so I was originally going to do these straps or bindings or whatever on his weapon and his arms with snakebite leather, but I kind of changed my mind. I thought it might be a little too samey with the weapon handle, so I went ahead and did those with the Skeleton Horde also. So our next thing to do is going to be the shoes and boots, whatever, and we're going to do those with the snakebite leather. And again, we're just going out of the pot, full strength, and just letting it do its thing. Okay, so I forgot about the bag on his back here, so I went ahead and hit that with the snakebite leather also. So it looks like the only thing we have left to do is the weapon blades and this little mask here. Oh, and a little spike on his chest plate. So I think we're going to try Basilicanum Gray for this one. Not really sure if this is going to work or not, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to go for a big brush for this, maybe a flat. I'm just going to use just this crappy brush. And we're going to go straight, I guess. Yeah, this is a crap brush. So we'll try just putting this on here, see what happens. I'm not really sure what it's going to do, but we will find out. Now, one thing I did notice in this experiment is this contrast paint does not really like to play well with this Mr. Hobby primer. I use it because it's readily available in my part of the world. It's very, very common here. It's easy to get, so that's why I use it. And it is very, very smooth. I'll give it that. So if you use the Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color, Mr. Finisher, Mr. Whatever primer, I would suggest probably giving it a good varnish after you prime, because it is a little weird just right on the primer. Kind of pulls back. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just weird. I think it's better. We just got this spot here. This weapon, I don't know, when it dries it might look terrible. Who knows? We'll see. And we also got this little face mask thing here. This may have been a terrible decision. Who knows? on the end of his weapon here. And his little sword. That's it. We'll let it dry. Then I will put this guy together, glue him up, and we can take a look at the finished experiment. Alright, so I'll be right back. Alright, so here's our mans, all finished, all glued up. I think he turned out okay, especially considering it's only contrast paint. I mean, if I was to do this, you know, just on my own and not as an experiment, I would be using some regular paints as well. I think the only parts I'm really not happy with are the boots, but I hate painting boots anyway. But yeah, again, big thanks to Keith for requesting the Ironjawz Orruks with only contrast paints. If you guys have any suggestions or anything that you would have done differently, definitely put them down in the comments below. If you didn't see the skin part of this little series, I'll link to it again in the description and in the end card at the end of the video. And if you want to see any other experiments with other guys using only contrast paints, definitely let me know that too. So I hope you found this interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting. I think it turned out okay. So if you did, please feel free to like, subscribe, you know, hit the bell button, tell Uncle Paul.